Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to my second live stream of the day. Perry Comics is already in here, brother. It is good to see you. I wanted to give everyone out there a very quick update on an error comic that has just come out today, that has just come out as part of New Comic Book Day. I have just returned from the comic shop, and as I walked in the door, I got a message from my buddy, Universe X Comics, Universe underscore X underscore comics on Instagram. Cool dude that I'm getting to know more and more behind the scenes because we kind of go back and forth every couple of days. But he reached out to me and was like, what's up, fam? Do you know about the printing error in Venom 16? So I immediately was like, what error? What is the exact error? Because what he actually did was he sent me a screen grab of Newsarama. I'm a big fan of Newsarama. I get a lot of information from there, among other sources. He sent that over. I popped over to Newsarama to see what the actual error was. I then grabbed my stack of comics that I just picked up from the comic shop. And sure enough, I have one of the print error comics. Now, what I don't know is whether this is a true print error in the sense that only a percentage of the comics printed actually have this error, or if it's the entire print run. If it's the entire print run, who cares, right? But if there is a subset of comics that actually have this error, that I think is going to be much more meaningful. So again, I wanted to kind of raise awareness of this potential print error for those folks that like print errors or whatever it is. But what I don't know, and this is the cautionary part, I don't know whether the print error is the entire run. And if it's the entire run, who cares? But if it's a portion of a run, I think that that's where it's going to be meaningful. And a lot of this is actually according to, and there you go, Brian Thompson is like, looks like it's all of them, which means no rarity, which indeed could be the fact. So this is actually Donnie Cates actually dropped this, and Donnie Cates says, let me see if I can find the actual quote here. He says, so happy to return to this insane story. One thing, we had a printing error that dropped a few captions from the initial double page spread. This was a tweet from Donnie Cates. So here is the actual version. Do me a favor and share this with folks. So he actually sent this out, and maybe to Brian's point is that this is throughout the print run. And if that is indeed the case, then it matters not. But if it is a smaller set, then it actually could be meaningful. And I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this on screen, but if you look here, there are actually there's three captions at the bottom of this page, and the top two are actually missing. So hopefully you guys can actually see this. This is a Venom number 13, which actually just dropped today. Hopefully you guys can actually see that there are actually three captions there, and two of the captions are actually missing. So here is the Venom 16 that I picked up earlier today. Of course, I didn't know about this when I grabbed the comic. It wasn't until I came home that I saw this message, and of course was able to find this news article. But you can see here inside the comic, there is only one there's only one caption at the bottom instead of a total of three. So again, who knows how widespread this is, to the point that we've already made. If this is in every single comic, it won't matter. But if it's a subset of the comics, then it could actually be meaningful. But I wanted to raise the awareness because I just became aware of it myself and was like, well, let me tell people about this. This is Venom number 16. This is the comic that actually just dropped today. And again, if this thing is widespread, it won't matter. If it's a subset, then it actually matters. So Eddie's Mullet is wondering if it affected the variant. I honestly don't know. So Dark Helmet is making the point that it's a pretty large print run. Yeah, so it's not about the size of the print run. It's about the size of the error and whether the error is throughout the run or a subset, right? Because sometimes what will happen, what a true print error is where they start printing something, there is something that is removed or missing, and then they correct it. And so it is that subset that contains the error, the subset of the overall print run, that sometimes is valuable. Now, what could happen is if the entire print run has the error, then it won't matter. The size of the print run doesn't matter because the entire run has the error, right? It's only when a subset of the run has the error is it actually meaningful. So hopefully that helps people. Perry said Donnie Cates trying to move some comics. I think Donnie Cates, I think he's probably a little bit more savvy than that. I would think he's actually a comic book reader. He's a comic book fan. Dude is super smart, and I think Perry Comics is just joking. If it were Rob Liefeld, never mind, never mind. I don't want to go down that ride. I don't want to go down that road. Sully Two Kings. I am not reading that comment out loud, my friend, but that is very funny. Connecting Comics says, is it a possible recall? I don't know. Again, if it's I don't know. I honestly don't know how they would handle that. I mean, it's basically, two caption boxes that are missing, and I don't know how substantive those captions are to the overall story, whether you lose something. I honestly haven't even read it. I literally walked in, I saw the message from Universe X on my phone, looked it up real quick, and then I came in here and did this broadcast. So I haven't even read the thing, so I don't know. But again, I just wanted to make folks aware of it. Felix says he's not reading Venom. Bro, what is going on? If you're not reading Venom, you're missing out. Venom has never been relevant to me. Just being 100% honest, never been relevant to me outside of what's happening with this particular run. I've been on board since issue number 1, and I think it's fantastic what Donnie Cates is doing in terms of, and the guest writer that came off for a short period of time, fleshing out Eddie Brock's character, adding all of these new capabilities to what to Eddie and to Venom and to the symbiote and to the universe that surrounds it. It's really, really fantastic stuff. I really believe that. So if you guys haven't read it, I definitely encourage you to check it out. Mr. Q Comics is like, 2 live streams? Yeah, bro. Two and out. 2 and out. I won't be back on tonight. Sully Two Kings, my man. So I reached out to Sully Two Kings earlier today. I just heard about this new black character. And by new black character, I mean she's been around like forever. And I had not heard of her before. So I sent a message over to Sully Two Kings and was like, bro, have you heard about this? My man, Chuck actually told me about this character, and it's a character called Butterfly. This character's been around for a very, very long time. And Sully Two Kings is like, yeah, I know all about it. I already profiled her. But it's Sully Two Kings. If you guys aren't following him on Instagram, definitely a really cool guy. Has made me aware of a lot of cool comics related to black characters, which I appreciate, which is how I was able to get that Lobo #1 back there on the wall, because of this dude planting that seed in my mind. And I thought I was delivering to him something he didn't know. Yeah, he knew all about it. But he was polite about it. He didn't hurt my feelings. So shout out to my man Sully Two Kings, brother. I definitely appreciate you. Scrolling through some of the comments here, seeing what you guys. Dark Helm is basically saying Venom is gold right now, along with Immortal Hulk, bro. I'm telling you, 2 awesome series right there. Immortal Hulk and Venom are 2 awesome modern day series where people like, current writing sucks. Read those 2 because they are really dope. The Venom took me a little while. Issue 1 I struggled with, but after issue 1 I was good, and I'm definitely hooked. Hold on, wait a minute. 1G, what's up? I saw you were in the Lou. Yeah. So I was in St. Louis for about 5 days visiting family, and I think the second part of my video, second part of my trip, is actually going to be released a little bit later today at 3:30. So definitely stay tuned tonight. It's basically bonus footage. You guys have already seen all the books that I picked up in part 1, but what I'll be showing you today is actually some bonus footage that I actually shot in a couple of shops. And what was cool is a guy messaged me yesterday. He was actually in one of my shops called Bigfoot Comics there in St. Louis that I go to. Absolutely love the owner, Asha, there. And he was there, and he was sending me messages while he was still in the shop. And so it's definitely it's a small world. You know what I'm saying? It is a definitely small world when you're talking about comics and you're talking about really good shops across the country. So Lawrence, thank you, brother, for making those comments there. And I'm guessing you're talking about Mose, because Mose was dope. I like David. David seems to be a good guy. When I'm back in St. Louis next time, I'm gonna probably slide by that place. So Hydra Comics says, I have the best Venom slab now with the signature series CGC Secret Wars 8. Bro, come on, don't rub this in. If you guys haven't seen Hydra Collectibles Instagram page, check it out. This dude has this, I think it's a Mike Zeck Secret Wars #8 remark. It's really good. It's really good. I'm not jealous of people, but I might be a little envious of that of that book. So, shout out to my man Hydra for that. Scrolling through, you need to read the OG Lethal run. I've had multiple copies of Lethal Protector. I've sold them, I've given them away, and I've never actually read them because I've never really been that interested in Venom. Venom to me was a little bit of a shallow character, right? And I mean, I don't mean that to sound bad. But I also view Captain America that way, right? A little bit of a shallow character in that I couldn't connect with the character, right? But I think with what's happening right now with Venom and Donny Cates, I think that he's adding a lot of substance and texture there that I can get on board with. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there's a lot of diehard Venom fans out there that love this character since the beginning. I remember when he was introduced and I didn't really care for him back then, but I think the character's definitely dope now. Same thing with Hulk to some degree. Hulk smash. I mean, how far does that get you, right? But the Hulk now, dope. And I think that's what's really great about this really talented group of writers and artists and creators that are out there right now is that they're putting their foot down. They're doing some really cool stuff. That's also why I created that video the other day about shouting out really talented artists. I'm sorry, really talented writers and creators right now, because I wanted to bring some visibility to these really talented people that are making awesome comics right now. So Sully Two Kings is like 1971, talking about Butterfly, the first female superhero. Definitely put his thing down. Are you reading, what is that? I think I lost it. Are you reading Middle West? No, I am not reading that. I'm not reading that. Is that an indie? Because you guys know how I feel about indies. I just don't. I'm teasing. I just found out yesterday that Scotty Young is actually writing. I always thought of him as an artist, but some people have hipped me as of late to the fact that he wrote some things before, and I think he's writing some things now, and people seem to be speaking very highly of him as a writer. So I always thought that he was just an artist. Brothers Grimm, how you doing? Drop one of those G's and we can get on board. Just drop one G from the Regie, just one G. Lauren says he's been going to Moe's comic since he was 8 years old. It is yeah, Moe's was cool. David seems to be a really cool owner. He didn't cut me some deals, but one of the back issue books that he had, he actually revised the price downward, which I think was appreciated because the revised price was actually the correct price. I think the book was a little overpriced prior to that, but he made magic, and it's a kind of shop that I can deal with. And then his inventory for Silver Age books was also pretty solid. So how far into the Venom new issue? 16. So that's what we're talking about right now. We are basically talking about a error in Venom 16. What we don't know is how extensive the error is. If the error is the entire print run, none of this matters. If the error is a subset of comics within the larger print run, then this could be something substantive, especially for those people that like print errors, right? Print errors are cool and valuable when it's a small subset of the run. If it's the entire run, forget about it. But I don't know that right now. What I do know is that Donny Cates has tweeted about it. Newsarama has spoken about an error in Venom 16, where basically two captions are actually missing from a double page spread. I actually went to the LCS. I got the book today, came home. Then I found out about the print error. I don't know how widespread it is. So just some cautionary notes there for people. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be a valuable book or not. Just trying to raise some awareness around this thing. So scrolling through some of the comments here, yeah, Scotty Young is doing good stuff. His run on Deadpool is going well. So that's Brian Parent. Thank you, brother, for shouting that out. Brothers Graham says he was just watching the pressing video part 1. I think it was a cool video. I think the pressing video came together quite nicely. I was up until 1:30 one night actually filming and partly editing that video because I let my mouth get me into trouble where I was talking about this video before I had even figured out how to film it. And then I felt the pressure of subscribers to actually film the daggone thing. So I filmed part 1 and part 2. I filmed the first part of part 3, and I hope to film the remainder of part 3 today so I can release that possibly next week or the week after. We will see what happens. So I'm scrolling down through some of the comments here. Sully Two Kings just clarified that it was 16 issues so far. Perry Comics talking about needing to pick up Gideon Falls trade. I actually got number one of that. Was it Gideon Falls? There was one of those books that I had it from issue one, gave it away. Then they announced that they were like making a movie or a TV show or something like that. And then I was like kicking myself that I actually gave the book away. But such is life. Clay is asking whether we're talking about the original Secret Wars. Yes, we were talking about the orange cover, black costume, Secret Wars #8. Definitely a really cool thing. Henry says he's getting ready for pressing video part two. Part two, I need to figure out whether I'm going to drop it this week or next week. What you will probably see today is part two of Hustling for Comics in St. Louis. That is the bonus footage of my trip to St. Louis. I wanted to get that one out there because it's almost been 2 weeks since I've come home from that one. So I wanted to get that video out. Part two of the pressing video is coming. I just don't know if it's going to happen this week. I might need to move a couple of things around, but that could drop this week. So scrolling down through some of the comments here, Dark Helm is like, smash the like button. Please do, because I definitely appreciate that. Scrolling through. So here we go. So Connecting Comics is making an appeal for a Lethal Protector series, saying it finally adds to the heart of Venom. That's cool. Because I mean, I guess he became like an anti-hero with that one, which I think is really cool. Yeah, so I think a lot of people, again, speak really highly of Venom, as Sully to King making his comment here. A lot of people like Venom. I just never really connected with Venom. For me, back in the 90s, he was always just like the green drooling beast that just antagonized Spider-Man, and I didn't see much appeal to him, possibly because Spider-Man was my boy. Venom was like the dude that just mollywomped him all the time, so maybe that was part of it. But yeah, I definitely am on the Venom train now because I like what Donny Cates is actually doing over here. Wait a minute, I lost a comment here. Scrolling through, dang it, I missed it. I may have to hold on. So Just a Little Podcast is talking about he's ready for the absolute carnage. Donny Cates run. Donny Cates can do no wrong, but they are saying that maybe there's some really exciting things that are probably going to happen in this absolute carnage run. Maybe some new characters, some new symbiotes, some of those kind of things. So I think that this absolute carnage run is going to be really big, and it's all going to tie back to Null in some way, shape, or form, because with Donny Cates right now, all roads lead to Null, right? All roads lead that way. And I don't think that it's wrong. I don't think that that's wrong at all. But that was the point that I was making, is about, because he is a current writer and because this is essentially his creation, he is going to do everything within his power, right? to basically cement Null as a awesome character, right? The same way that other people have created characters and just done everything within their control to like solidify them in the minds of fans. And I think Donny Cates is basically doing that, where he's doing some retcons, he's doing some really, really creative stuff to build this character up. And I think it's fantastic. I really do. I actually look forward to reading Donny Cates' work because I think it's really awesome. Brian is over here rebagging and boarding his Dazzler #1 from 1981 with the printing error. Said he that's funny. That's funny. Gotta love coincidences, man. Sometimes it's not a coincidence. Sometimes it's just magic being made. Man Cave Comics, how you doing, brother? Welcome to the live chat. Glad you were able to make it in here. Scrolling through some of the comments here, looking through his Venom 16, not seeing any black bubbles. So there's no black bubbles. Basically what it is just missing space. There is no caption right here on this first spread. I think it's like I don't know, it's like page 2 or 3. Basically this spread right here, there should be 2 captions right here where Thor is, and as you can see in my copy here, there is only one down here by his feet. In the correct version, there are actually 2 extra captions right where Thor is actually standing. So that's the error. And again, what I don't know is how widespread that error actually is. If it's widespread throughout the print run, it matters not. So Brian Hart, here, let me scroll this thing. No pressure, Reggie. You think Spider-Man felt the way when battling? Oh, well done. Well done, bro. Well done. The technically the Gibbon was mollywopped by those Craven the Hunter bots or whatever those things were. They technically mollywopped him, but I get your point, my friend. I get your point, Brian Hart. Well done, my friend. Scrolling through some of the comments here, Brian Parent is correcting folks. Thank you, brother. I definitely appreciate that. You guys are on it, man. Hydra Collectibles is making the point here that he liked the pressing video, but he's not brave enough to try. Here's the thing. I'm gonna be honest with you. One, I didn't want to do it myself, right? I did it because my wife was like, well, she was saying that she would do it. And she ended up not doing it. I ended up doing it. And I didn't really want to do it at all. But I've actually come to enjoy it. I've come to enjoy taking an imperfect comic and making a little more perfect, right? When you see it come out of the press and it's just straight glass, it is really a great sight to behold, you know. But it's just like anything else, man. I don't think that this is for everyone. I don't think that the process that I have is the perfect process. I certainly don't know all there is to know about pressing. You know what I'm saying? But it was one of those things where I have developed a little bit of experience and I wanted to share it with other people to say, hey, here's what I do. Here's what's working for me. Take from this what you can, right? And maybe the only thing that you take from it is, oh, cool process. I don't want to do it. Maybe you take from it, oh, that was a cool 18 minutes watching this video. I definitely enjoyed that. And that's cool with me. I think that that's perfectly fine because I don't think that pressing is for everyone. I really don't. And and Hydra knows this. That's not the point of the video. That's not the point of the video. The video is like, hey, here's a piece of information that some people could find valuable and others may just be entertained by it. And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. Saying Brian Thompson is basically saying, now I have to find a Venom 16 that doesn't have the error. There you go. That's the goal. If we can find ones that actually have the captions there, then we know that we are in the money. But that does not seem to be the case right now. So Christopher Briggs says that he loved the pressing video. Thank you for that. Glad you guys enjoyed that. It was a fun video to make. You know what I'm saying? It was a challenge because of the different angles that I had to hit here in the room and the confines of the room and the size of the press and the size of the number of materials that I had to get on the table and the angle of the camera. It was a challenge, but it was also a fun video to kind of make. And it's nice when people actually take the time to watch these videos because a lot goes into them. A lot goes into, thinking through them and shooting them and voicing them and, editing them and then publishing them. It takes a lot of work. So I definitely appreciate people taking the time to watch them. So Hydra is basically saying he definitely wants to watch more videos on pressing. It's interesting to learn how some people do it, but he's scared. Hey, nothing wrong with that, brother. Just curious about the tub with the grate. That is going to be captured in more detail in part 2. In part 2, I'm going to spend a lot more time talking about the moisture bath or the water bath, however you want to look at it. So there you go. No, Sully Two Kings, do not send your comics to me. I had what was it? Jay-Z, my man Jay-Z, cool dude down in Florida. He was like, so bro, now that you're pressing, can I send my books to you? And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I do not want to be responsible for other people's books. I will press my own books. If I ever mess up, it's just my money. I don't want to be responsible for anybody else. And honestly, I can't even recommend another presser that I would trust, to be honest with you, because I've only used one in the past and that person actually damaged my book, but I think there are some reputable pressers out there that can absolutely take care of you guys. I am not the one. I am not the one. Brian Parent, brother, if you send me your comics, I will reject them. I'm going to be like, send these back to sender. Oh, you guys are hilarious. All right. So again, just wanted to raise a little bit of awareness around this print error that is affecting a new comic book that you can actually pick up today for $3.99. What I don't know is whether the error that is in this Venom 16 is widespread or whether it is a small percentage of the overall comics that were printed. But I wanted to raise awareness for people to kind of know what is going on. So is there a difference between a moisture bath and a closed steamer? So the way that I would probably think about that is your closed steamer is essentially two things in one. It is the moisture moisture and the heat at the same time. The moisture bath is actually a slower process to expose the comic to moisture over time. And then that moisture is then removed from the comic with heat in the press. And so I think that there is more than one way to skin a cat. Like I think ETA Nick actually uses a closed steamer, whereas I choose to use the moisture bath and the t-shirt press. That works better for me. I've never tried his method, but I think what it illustrates, and thank you for illustrating this, Son of Sam, is that there is more than one way to do this. And I think what people can do is watch as many videos about this process as they possibly can, and then decide what they want to do. Because I am not a professional presser, neither is ETA Nick, but we both have a process, and the question becomes, what will your process be? So there you go. Sully to Kings, you are very welcome. Eddie's mullets, like hashtag era awareness. Oh man, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. All right, with that, I'm going to get myself out of here. I want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me. If you guys need to reach me, feel free to do so. Reggie Collects on Instagram and reggiecollects@gmail.com. And if